Today, Elon Musk makes an offer to buy Twitter and everyone promptly loses their minds. Ron DeSantis bans late-term abortions in Florida and serious tragedy going on in Shanghai. What it could mean for the world. We've got all of that and more coming up, and it all starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by my friend, Dave Raboy, who is an author, a writer over at Substack, Late Republic Nonsense. You need to check it out. And it's always good to see you in studio.
It's great to be here. Yeah, great to be in Dallas.
Always happy when the cool people come join us over in Texas. Speaking of that, this one decided Texas was so great, he just moved here, Matt Marsden. The filmmaker, actor, if I went through all of your titles, we'd be here all day. Yeah. So I'll give you a little bit of credit.
Okay,
but not too much.
I'll take that. And all the cool people are here.
I know. Well, you know, it's funny because we all ran into each other at the front. And I always am fascinated by like who already knows each other and who doesn't. And of course, you guys did. And I was like, yes.
Of course we do.
Well,
yes. It's a secret society. We don't talk about it.
We have a funny handshake and all that.
Yeah. So I also was talking off air that my son had this spring festival at his school, and I was busy with that. And I'm like, what a day to be unplugged for a couple hours. I felt like I was frantically catching up on all of this. And these two couldn't stop talking about the Twitter thing. But I'm like, stop. You're going to waste all of your good stuff before we actually go live. But Elon Musk has offered to buy Twitter outright for a whopping $43 billion price tag. He says that the company needs to be transformed. Now, I want to read his actual letter that he wrote because it is really awesome. He said, Chairman of the board, I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be a platform for free speech around the globe, and I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. However, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve the societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. He mentions his offer, and he says, my offer is my best and final offer, and if it is not accepted, I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder. Twitter has extraordinary potential. I will unlock it. And of course, the offer was to buy 100% of Twitter. And this is, by the way, I mean, he's giving them a very, I would say, more than fair cost. So price tag. So a lot of interesting moving parts as of the time of this taping. They may change again. I don't know. But since then, Elon Musk now is no longer Twitter's largest shareholder because Vanguard, asset manager, the Vanguard Group, just upped its stake in the platform, and now they are the company's largest shareholder. So now they have 10.3% of the company. The Saudi prince has come out and said...
Not the Saudi prince.
I'm sorry.
One of the minor princes.
Okay.
Alwi bin Talal, who's not, who historically, at least since the ascent of MBS, has not really been in favor in the kingdom.
Okay.
So there is and has been a very sharp rivalry between MBS, who is the crown prince, and Alwi bin Talal, who's just basically a rich guy.
Gotcha. So, and he's
always leaned left.
Do we know how much what percentage he's just on the board?
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah. So, but he's already come out and said
he's come out against it.
Yeah, he is not in favor of it.
Right.
We don't know, I think, how the other ones feel about it. But a couple different things. Number one is that Elon, you pointed this out, Dave, Elon has been responding to different people engaging on Twitter, responding to questions. Nick Short says if the board of directors at Twitter reject the offer made by Elon Musk, then wouldn't the board be acting in direct opposition to the financial interests of their shareholders? Elon responded to that. He said, absolutely, it would be utterly indefensible not to put this offer to a shareholder vote. They own the company, not the board of directors. So
many things are fascinating about this whole story. And it's like, I mean, there's a reason why everybody's talking about this, right? I mean, this is very exciting. And, one reason, the million reasons, namely the fact that, Twitter is just so important in the public discourse. And you had all these people for so many years saying, oh, it's the, it's just, start your own Twitter. It's a private company, blah, 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 blah. But the way people are talking about it, it's very clear that everyone knows that it is the political public square.
Yeah.
If there is any argument that it's not, I think this week that argument has been defeated because, we know that it's important because it controls the terms of debate. If you are a political candidate and you are trying, or you work in politics, or you care about politics, you have an opinion, and you are not allowed to express it because of Twitter's censorship or something like that, you are effectively unpersoned. And the great thing about that Elon Musk statement that you read is, he wrote that thing himself.
Oh, 100%. It's like Trump, right?
Right. Any other billionaire, though, has an entire retinue of, courtiers and hangers-on who do these things for him. Now, maybe somebody proofread it.
Right.
But, Elon Musk is sitting there at his iPhone typing that stuff out, and he really believes it, which, we should be lucky, we who want to encourage a free society and who understand, as he does, that without the ability to speak your mind about the most important things, we are living in a tyranny. We're living in a soft, really cushy tyranny, but it's a tyranny nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the people who make a living sharing their opinions. If you happen to have an opinion that doesn't align with, the regime or big tech or whatever, your livelihood can just get taken from you like that. And I think Elon understands that. I also want to add into the equation, Matt, before I give you the floor, that the Fox News announced, I believe this was Fox Business, Charles Gasparino, if we can pull that tweet back up, he tweeted out earlier that a legal source, so this is just I'm going to tell you how far it's vetted and you take it for what it is. A legal source told Fox Business that the SEC and the Justice Department have launched what he described as a, quote, joint investigation, end quote, into a myriad of Musk regulatory issues, primarily involving Tesla. Coincidental?
Fancy that.
It's just a coincidence, I'm sure, that they're investigating him at the same time that he's making waves.
Totally illegitimate tyranny.
It's
absolutely
look, there's no.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that the administration would weaponize their Department of Justice for political reasons?
That would mean that we're that would mean that we're living. Yeah, I mean, what a horrible thing to suggest, right? That would mean that we're living in a in a whatever sham country, that has, fundamentally given up the legitimacy, on which the government is based.
Oh, wait, all of that's true.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, yeah. No, I mean, look, there's no downside, I don't think, to what's going on right now. There's none, because if he gets it, he's clearly going to open up the platform for other people to speak. Maybe some certain person that was a president might come back. I mean, you can imagine that's, right now, that's absolutely the first person he's going to say you can come back. Right?
For sure.
That's the first person. But it's exposing them. Why all of a sudden are they upping? Is he that much of a threat? Is free speech that much of a threat to them? That they're in this little bidding war where, vanguards come in and there's going to be someone else come in. You know that your Zuckerbergs and everything, they're like, listen, we got to get in on this. We got to. So it's exposing all this anyway.
Right.
So there's no real, for years and years and years, people around this table go, hey, I didn't see your tweet for I don't know how long.
Of course.
Or even me, I tweeted out the other day, I unfriended Elon Musk when I didn't unfriend Elon Musk. And when I put it up, it was like me neither. And people were checking, and he'd been unfriended by a bunch of people that commented on my Twitter feed, right? So we know they've been doing this, and certain people have been saying this doesn't happen. It's a figment of your imagination. This is ridiculous. Well, we've seen it all quite clearly now.
Right.
Why are they so afraid? If it was legitimate, it's like anything. Why are you complaining if it's a level playing field? We go, okay, listen, the marketplace of ideas, let's go to it, let's bash it out, right? We should be able to defend our position. it's clear that one group of people don't want that. They don't want a level playing field because they can't compete on it, is the truth, right? That is the truth. And he, for whatever reason he's doing, like we were saying before, is I personally, and we like genuinely think that he's like, hey, I've got to do something about this. This is clearly not right. I mean, you said that, right, Dave? You said he's totally out of Atlas Shrugged, saying, I've actually got the...
If not me,
means.
then who?
Who's going to do it?
Right. Yeah. And that level of self-consciousness or that awareness of your place is really important. I think it blows up the other argument that a lot of folks had, which is that, oh, it's all about the money. It's all about the money, which is like, no, it's not. This is not, it's so obviously not about the money. Twitter is not a valuable property. You're not going to make a ton of money on Twitter. It's very obvious. It's like it's like, I mean, it's valuable because of its potential to influence, and that's it. And it's a conveyor belt of influence. You're never gonna you're never gonna make billions because it can't really be monetized. They try, here and there, but like they can't capture. Sure, I pay whatever $3 a month for whatever super Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't even know why at this point. I may cancel it. But I figured if I'm paying them, maybe they won't shadow ban me. But they're shadow banning me anyway.
They're happy to take your money.
They're happy to take the money. Right.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens because it's like, okay, offering a 54% increase in premium over the stock's price prior to Elon investing. And then you have Elon on the other side of it. He was in the middle of a TED Talk today, and he was asked if he has a backup so the question was, if in this case you are not successful in that the board does not accept your offer, you've said you won't go higher, is there a plan B? And Elon just responded, there is. And he would not give any more details.
King.
So then it's like, okay, then if he dumps the stock, then Twitter takes a hit. So if they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders and investors, what do you do?
And by the way, you can't pay for this kind of publicity, right? I mean, if you wanted this, how much money would it cost for you to get this? So let's say he does have a backup, obviously, and he moves that. He's probably the only person that could get everybody now to go, I'm done with Twitter. I'm moving over.
Oh, 100%.
Everyone's going to go.
100%.
Right? Because it's just got huge balls to do it, and it's like, I want to go and follow that guy.
Right. This whole exercise, he wins either way.
Yeah.
And I think we should look at it in a different way. I mean, it's not that he wins either way, because at the end of the day, he's just a guy, right? We win. Because now people will see like, hey, I actually, billionaires out there who aren't crazy leftist, nut jobs will say, wait a minute, why don't I buy company X that's been destroying the country, that's been, that's gone off and done crazy things? I mean, why not? Why can't I can actually make a difference here? Instead of giving, someone was joking on Twitter and they said, these guys who stupidly, in a very brain dead way, will go and they'll write multi-million-dollar checks to their universities that will take the money, give them nothing, but basically, poison the minds of, generations and, tens of thousands of kids, destroying everything that they believe in. Like, hey, why not take that money, buy a company, and, and reform it?
Yeah. So I have one more question to you guys, and you kind of alluded to it off air, but I struggle with, a lot of people are like, Elon, he's being red-pilled, and I'm like, well, let's not forget why he's the owner of Tesla, right? I'm not sure that he's fully there. I agree with you guys. He's there on the free speech issue, and that's all we need right now. But it is a little bit scary to me, just to play devil's advocate, it is a little bit scary to me that you can have someone who has this much money who can just change all of the, he also believes in climate change. So what
and
if he does
transhumanism?
Right. So what
Right.
if he uses this mechanism to then go do other things, and we go, oh, wait a second, crap, he's not our guy anymore. I just worry because conservatives are just, we want to be like, it's like the unpopular kid at school who
Right.
like wants to be liked, and
So
we're like,
hungry
yes,
for a
he's one
champion.
of us, and it's like, no, wait, he's not. What are your
Well,
thoughts
this is
on
the
that?
Donald Trump phenomenon
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
Like here comes someone who doesn't despise, you know,
Right.
who doesn't despise the country, who doesn't despise middle America.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, he gets popular, everyone loves him.
We love him.
Right, right.
He's the best.
And you sort of love him unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really not good either. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely that fear that this will happen with Musk. And yeah, you're right. I mean, for me, the transhumanism stuff is utterly scary, and it's a big deal. I think we can cross that bridge when we come to it, because people still don't really understand what that means.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I had this conversation with our friend Matt Peterson a long time ago when Trump first announced. I said, listen, he's going to win. And I said, and whatever, just because of the nature of who he is, right? If he says he's going to be a pro-life president, he will make sure, and the more the left goes after him, the more he's going to double down on being the most pro-life president of all time, right? And I think that we should just remember that, like right now, Elon has had a bunch of, like you say, he was the green guy, right? He was the guy that invented, or not invented, but you know, brought Tesla to where it is. You know, that pushed the green agenda, right? And so the left was actually lionizing, saying, listen, this is our guy, this is our guy. And he's going to see a turn, a vicious turn, like he's never experienced before in his life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you kind of go, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Right, because I honestly, I have to say, I mean, I know people say, well, there's bad people on the right and there's bad people on the left. That's absolutely true. But I think that if you take a cross section of right and left, like the left is way more vicious than the right.
This is their religion.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I think
their whole
that
personality.
he's going to see that and he's going to be like, I don't want to be a part of that. I think that's just normal. And there's a lot of people that are feeling that and they're moving, especially after the COVID thing. So of course, I distrust everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Just distrust
Smart
everybody.
people
But let's take a win, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you're talking about this, you've got Bezos who controls the Washington Post and Amazon and, you know, crazy Bill, right? With these like, let's put chalk into the air. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So at least we've got one person who's doing something right, and who knows what might come from that.
Yeah, and whatever
That's
kooky beliefs he has about transhumanism, at least he will provide an open forum where these ideas can be debated. And I think, you know, based on what we know about him, based on what he wrote, he'd be the first one to say, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. That's
As
a great
opposed
point.
to the other thing, which is like, yeah, you don't get a choice.
Right. That's a really great point.
Yeah.
All right,
that was a good segue into the next topic.
That was actually,
Right?
yes, but
Really
unfortunately it doesn't matter because I have to take a sponsor and then go
Darn
to
it.
break. But I am really excited about the sponsor. I love Hunter Douglas. So Hunter Douglas can help you just totally transform your house with their innovative window shade designs. They've got a bunch of different fabrics. They're all gorgeous. And my favorite part of it is they have the technology that is so advanced that you can actually schedule to automatically adjust your shades to their optimal position throughout the day. So maybe you have, you know, at 5 o'clock, it's just beating through your window and blinding you in the eye. You can schedule it to go down so that doesn't happen. Look, we redid our shades not that long ago, and it completely changed the look of our house. So if you're looking at your house and you're going, gosh, we've been here a while, and it just feels like we need to update, but you don't want to move right now. Let me tell you, you don't want to move right now. You can still make it feel like a new home. You can visit hunterdouglas.com/y today for your free Style Gets Smarter design guide. They've got a bunch of different creative ideas and smart solutions for dressing your windows. That is hunterdouglas.com/y for your free design guide. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation today banning late-term abortions after 15 weeks gestation. Now, this law, it's HB 5, it allows exceptions when the mother's life is at risk or in danger of, quote, irreversible physical impairment, end quote, or if the unborn baby has a fetal abnormality. It does not offer exceptions for rape. which is huge. Ron DeSantis pointed out this is the strongest pro-life legislation that has happened in Florida for, generations. I would argue is one of the strongest in the country, the way things are going, because there are so many states that are swinging to the other side of the radical type, yes, you can have, let's make sure that we pass legislation that says that a fetus has no rights, So it's nice to see. By the way, while this is going on, Florida trial court actually allowed a pro-life law to go into effect Friday. This is going to mandate that abortion clinics and doctors require mothers to wait 24 hours before they abort their unborn baby. So look, I could not be more of a fan of Ron DeSantis. Like, I totally fangirl over this guy. He's making big moves. I think, if you're looking at it from a political perspective and you realize, I realize he's way ahead in Florida, but you might jeopardize some of the people who are, would vote for you otherwise if you do this right now. And he's like, I don't care. I'm making big moves. And he did. And more lives will be saved. So I'm happy about that, gentlemen.
Well, it's like he's branding Florida, right? Like, it's very clear. And I think it's really important to do that, to say, okay, and the amazing thing about the United States of America, as I know, you can always leave that state, right? So if you don't like it, you can leave or you can vote the next election. And the truth of the matter is there are more people coming in that agree with what DeSantis is doing, and they don't particularly want the people in there that don't. And it's the same here in Texas. I know that a lot of people are thinking that, the people that are coming from California, we've had this discussion before, they're worried about it. They absolutely shouldn't be worried about the people coming from California, because they're all people that want to come here for the right reasons. So I think it's the founding fathers were brilliant, and they set something up that if you don't like it, you don't have to be there, you can go somewhere else, and that's it. And he will be, in my opinion, if Donald doesn't run, I think that he will be the next president of the United States, without a doubt.
I wish that there was no if Donald doesn't run.
I agree. I've written a whole lot about DeSantis. I've spent a lot of time with him. Obviously, I'm one of his constituents.
Yes.
I live in Florida, and I think the world of this guy. I've known a lot of politicians, spoken to a lot of them over the years that I'm in the politics business, what have you, and there's nobody like him. I think it's absolutely authentic. And it is hard for folks on the right, or for folks, who are in the kind of GOP base, to really internalize what he means, which is like, he's a guy who grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh, like many of us did.
Yeah.
He is that guy. He is us. He is not a country club, a Republican who's, yes, he went to Yale. Yes, he has he has the elite resume, but he never, he never changed. He never adapted himself in order to succeed in that particular, in that particular universe. He wants to govern Florida. Maybe he's holding his cards close to his chest and he doesn't want to talk about, 2024. I know it's very obvious. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out he's very ambitious.
Yeah.
But he is laser focused on Florida and the things today. I knew he would do something like this today, because he's trying to push the hot button issues. Why is he doing that? He wants the people to leave.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the trans and kind of the LGBT plus K through 3 education. He's very clearly saying, if you believe in sexualizing kids K through 3rd grade, little kids, you have no place in the state of Florida. And the vast majority of Democrat voters agree with him.
Yeah.
And hopefully he keeps doing more of these things. People say, you know what? This is my issue. I want to die on this hill. I'm moving. Like the people who are at Twitter who are like, if Elon Musk takes over, I'm quitting. Go with God.
Yeah.
Like what happened to all the Hollywood people that were going to move to Canada? Like them.
Yeah.
It's a shame they didn't.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like, please go.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a chance that some may leave Florida, but look, if they're not going to leave Florida because of the abortion stuff and the LGBT stuff and whatever DeSantis has coming next, which I think is going to be, open carry, then we got to turn the heat up. We got to turn the heat up because
I'm going to make all my moves while I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people love it, and it's just it's such a great template. Again, it's like the Elon Musk story.
Yeah.
In so many ways, it's like a different replay. Here's a guy doing what we all thought was almost impossible.
Right.
And at the end of the day, he's showing that it's not that impossible. You can do this.
It actually is kind of embarrassing as a Texan when I see him doing all this, right? I was going to ask Matt, like, do you kind of regret picking Texas?
Do you know what? I just see, that, what is it, a meme where there's the guy walking with his girlfriend and you look
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
I have spoken to many Texans since I've been in. They're very, very proud people, and I am a Texan now. But he's a real leader, isn't he? And, I am looking over there. I'm not looking like I would ever want to go there. I mean, maybe a second home. We're having a conversation about that, but I love Texas. But he's leading. Like, he is the guy.
Yeah.
But like, we're supposed to be the state.
I know.
You know what? Good for you. Good for you, because Texas needs to learn
100%.
that it better get its stuff in gear.
Yeah.
And it's been coasting for way too long.
Yes.
with the self-congratulatory reputation, like, okay, we're the most conservative.
Right. Yeah.
And then you guys end up electing. I mean, I know I lived in Texas. You guys keep electing these corporate Republicans who just don't care about anything at the end of the day other than the bottom line. I mean, you are the border state.
Yeah.
And there's the Texas government the state government has not been hawkish on immigration.
No. Well, what killed me was I think this was right before the primary. So February. And Governor Abbott tweeted out about the border and said something about how bad it was and how bad it had gotten, and said, we must put a stop to it. And so I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, as if this is a new issue.
Right.
You keep sitting by and letting it happen, and then you want to tweet about it like you're finally going to take action. Where the hell were you a year ago when there were already record numbers of immigrants coming in?
And it's like,
embarrassing.
By the way, you are governor. Yeah. You can do it.
You've been governor
like,
this
you
whole
don't have to get
time.
reelected to do it. You can do it right now.
Yes.
You can do it right now.
It kills me.
Look, I was living in Florida before COVID, and before COVID, I was thinking, you know what? I should maybe move back to Texas. I've got a lot of friends here. At that time in Florida, like, nobody was there.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I miss people. I miss that. I love Texas. Always did. And I was thinking about it, and then COVID hit. So I said, let me wait a minute. And then I just watched as Florida was so much better on COVID every step of the way than Texas was.
Yeah, your gamble paid off.
Yeah, and now, of course, I'm surrounded by friends because everybody moved to Florida, and it's interesting because in the context of sort of the big sort, which is what people talk about, people ideologically sorting themselves and moving across country and doing these things, and it's really significant because it means that we are finally at a place where the stakes are high enough to pack your stuff and to leave your life and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's huge for decades.
Yeah.
Many decades. It hasn't been this bad.
Yeah.
Where you actually have that thought. People used to go to the other side of the country, maybe for a job or because whatever, it was elective.
Right.
But now it's like, I got it, the sense, like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, the stakes are too high.
Right.
All right, we got to take another quick break. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So, look, corporations are going crazy. They're all going woke, and they're making all their employees watch all this leftist propaganda telling white people that they're racist, and they are donating oftentimes a portion of the money that they're receiving from you in your bill, and they're giving it to left-leaning causes that you probably, if you're watching this program, are spending your time and your money trying to fight against. That is why we are proud here at BlazeTV to support Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Guys, it's 2022, so they all have the same towers. I don't know if you guys realize this. They're all using the same towers. So it's the same nationwide coverage, and you're going to get that same great service, plus the peace of mind that your money is not going to support things like abortion and taking away your guns. It is, in fact, going to support free speech, life, and liberty. They've got a bunch of different plans to fit any budget. They've got 100% U.S.-based customer support. And more importantly, they share your values and support organizations fighting for religious freedom, constitutional rights, and the sanctity of life. You can go to patriotmobile.com/news. You will get free activation with the offer code NEWS. By the way, if you're a veteran or first responder, they're going to give you another discount on top of their already reasonably priced plans. So you got to go there, support a company that loves America and shares your values over at patriotmobile.com/news. That is patriotmobile.com/news. Shanghai's lockdown and China's zero COVID policy could have massive global effects in the supply chain. This is coming from head of Asia Pacific at FAO Global. They said it's a knock-on effect through the whole supply chain. What you will see if this continues is at some point it will affect business in the UK. It may just be that a delivery is delayed by, a month or two, or it could be costs are going up. This is not hard to understand when you see just how strict this lockdown is. We're not talking about a lockdown here in the United States. We're talking about China. So look, there are a lot of videos that have been circulating that I can't show, mostly because I don't want to see them, because they're going into people's apartments, beating to death all of their animals because, the animals might spread COVID and we have to have zero COVID. They are not letting people, they're literally locked in their apartments. If they don't have food, they die. They can't go to the grocery store. The grocery stores are closed. The truckers, there are trucks that, they have rotting meat because there's nowhere to deliver any of this food to. It's just rotted. And I want to play really quickly, and then I want to get your thoughts, gentlemen. There's just this video that I will play because it is not graphic, but there are residents. They're just, when you stand out there outside and you can just hear everyone just screaming from their buildings. Let's watch a little bit of that.
要命了，就刚刚。
So this man apparently is saying this cannot last, and that things are going to get really bad if it doesn't end soon. So that's what you hear at night in Shanghai. That's enough, I think. But like I said, there's video of people jumping out of buildings because I guess they decide it's better to just make it quick rather than starve to death. It's really bad there. It's really bad there. Gentlemen, I'm going to let you give your thoughts. This is a topic that I was like, I don't even know if I want to cover it on the show because it's just so horrific what's happening. But it's a new show, so we got to talk about it.
Look, I understand. I still haven't gotten a good answer as far as why they're doing this. You know, the answer that they give is, COVID zero. We want to make sure we have absolutely no COVID. Well, I'm not sure I buy that. You know, because at the end of the day, we have managed, not only we in the United States, but so many other countries. Actually, every other country has managed to deal with COVID in a kind of normal way. And so did China for a time. So why they're doing this is, some people have suggested that it's because they're trying to intimidate their more, let's say, Western-leaning elites ahead of, a coming referendum or election. Someone said, this is what passes for election season in China, which of course is horrific. But you see stuff like this and it's so kind of mind-bogglingly evil and nuts. And we it goes back to, again, kind of the same thing. Our elite media has this idea of what, evil fascism looks like. And, they love to point out Vladimir Putin. They love to point out, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis and whatever. And these, obviously they're not all the same. But here is this Chinese regime that is so beyond the pale absurd. Okay, they're high tech. You know,
Right.
okay, they're kind of doing all the things that the left wants to do with their social credit system, and you know, and this and that, and they treat everyone as cogs, you know, as kind of lifeless cogs in their society. I mean, it's so beyond comprehension, some of the stuff that we're watching. I totally understand why you don't want to see it.
Yeah,
and it's not even
it's
just
hard.
the animals.
Right.
And,
it's the people too.
but
Trust me.
Right. And so the big question is why?
Yeah.
Like, give me one legitimate.
Well, it's almost
explanation.
like communism is evil.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
feel like
almost like that. I don't know.
And pride, because I mean, Xi Jinping. It's like if he says we're going to get to zero COVID,
But
maybe he
it's an
feels like he has to-
impossibility. They
I mean,
can't
I
do
know
it.
that.
We know that. But look, I'm old enough to remember them dropping in the streets.
Yeah.
Right. I have a kind of a different thing on this. I think that this is, you know, for whatever I know, I mean, I think that they manipulated the virus the first time to break our economy. Right. You know, I've not seen anyone drop in the street from COVID. Right? I've not seen it. And they were, do you remember that the pictures of them falling over?
Oh, we talk about this all the time on my program. Like,
and so
no one
I
ever
think
followed
this
up
is the
on
same
that.
thing. I think it's the same thing. I think they don't have to go to war with us to defeat us. All they've got to do is break our economy, right? And I think that this is, I mean, we're playing it, right? So we're seeing, but you know what? Americans are too smart for that. So they're going, no, we know we all didn't die from COVID, so this isn't the threat that they're trying to make it out to be. And I think they're just upping it and upping it and upping it. But what I would like to ask, because you know, I always like to refer back to my friends in Hollywood. Where's your PSA, and why aren't you not doing China-backed films, guys? Huh? Do you hear that? There are people dying in their apartments, and you guys are still taking the dough.
Right, but Florida doesn't want to, you know, indoctrinate young children into sexual acts, and that's the last straw. That's a great point. All right, we've got to take a quick break. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Home Title Lock. So, look, home title theft. A lot of people don't realize. They think it's not real. It might be fake. No, actually, it's very real. Some cyber criminal can actually forge your name off the title of your home and then take over as a new owner. And you may think, well, I probably belong to some sort of program that protects me from that, like my identity theft program or my banking program protection. No, actually, none of those things cover this, but Home Title Lock will. Home Title Lock has earned our trust over here at The Blaze. They will put a virtual barrier around your home's title, and whenever they find anyone tampering with that title, they will mobilize to shut it down. Look, you've invested a lot in your home, probably. It serves as like what, your retirement nest egg. Don't let this happen to you. You can go to HometitleLock.com and you can register your address to see if you are already a victim. It is HometitleLock.com. By the way, tell them Sarah Gonzalez sent you to get the listener discount. That is HometitleLock.com. California regulators unveiled a plan to ban the sale of new gas cars by 2035. This was today they announced this. This plan also calls for a 35%. So 35% of new car sales in the state have to be battery or hydrogen powered by 2026. So that is only 4 years. The board will vote on the proposal in August. And look, this is going to represent Newsom's September 2020 executive order aiming to ban new gas and diesel vehicles by 2035. I think that they think that, like, if they push this now, people will go, well, but gas is so expensive, so I guess we need to do it, which I would suggest was their plan the entire time. But what do I know? What do I know, gentlemen, that?
I'm just glad not to be there.
Yeah.
I'm all like, whatever. But, you know what I mean? I'm like, suckers.
Have fun.
You know.
Never mind. I was going to say something I shouldn't.
Right. No, I'm like, Texas, I got my Ford F-150. I'll be filling that sucker up. No, I mean, it's just ridiculousness again. I mean, they can't even. Look, I had a hybrid when I was there, and they told us, hey, listen, please don't put your air conditioning on because No, they did. They said, don't put your air conditioning on because the grid can't take it.
No.
The grid.
God.
So how are they? Not in the car.
Well, I
like,
was like, wait, in the car?
No, but they don't even have the infrastructure.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, it's going to make Elon Musk a lot richer, right? Because they're going to sell more Teslas. Yeah, I love it. Good old California.
Yeah, I mean, I
Good
see
grief.
this and I think, look, there is a shortage of cars. People want to buy. People want to buy cars, not just. I mean, real cars, not just electric cars. So it's like, okay, let the others, let them be for sale in other states.
Right.
Florida will be fine. Texas will be fine. Everywhere else in the country will be fine. I agree with you. I mean, I couldn't care. I don't care at all what happens in California, and if they do this. But 2035, that's the projected date when this is going to phase in. That's a long way off. Like, we're probably going to collapse as a society before then. So, like, this is just a moot point.
We'll be back on horses by then.
Right.
Hunting.
Yeah. I mean, this is when, like, you're whatever, installing, headphones in your casket. Like, hey, so I'll be able to listen to music when I'm dead. This is like totally silly and virtue signaling, nonsense.
I just feel bad for like the car businesses in California because it's like, what are they supposed to do?
I think they're owned. I don't have data on this. I'm just talking, off the cuff.
Right.
But based on my experience in places like Texas and Florida and other places, it's a lot of right wingers who are in the car business. Whether they are mechanics, whether they have dealerships and things like this. It's usually a family business.
Right.
And because it's something real, it's tangible, it's not a knowledge economy job. It's more apt for conservatives to be in that line of work. And I mean, I could see it as a middle finger to those guys.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I would say just because it goes along with what they're already trying to push. So why not? Why not also give them the middle finger? I mean, you're not going to prevent someone from buying a gas-powered vehicle. They're just going to cross state lines and go buy it and then drive it back to your crap hole state.
Well, then they'll go and then they'll say, well, if you have one and you buy it, in Arizona and bring it in, we're going to tax you, at some incredible rate. So it's going to, I mean, what's going to happen to Jay Leno with his, 300 cars? I mean, we'll see. Soon it'll only be those folks. But then think about once you leave the metro areas by the coasts and you go into the internal part of the state, the breadbasket of the state, which is, again, far more conservative and more rural, and there's, farming and all this stuff. I'm assuming that this is just for passenger vehicles and not for, not for other stuff.
Who knows? So you're assuming this, but this is Gavin Newsom in California. So who the hell knows? All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back. Hey, don't forget to go wherever you find your audio podcasts. You can subscribe, rate, and review the news and why it matters. It will help more people be able to find the show because, as we know, the algorithm is not kind to conservatives. Also, you may see a review read live on air like the one today from Out of Time. Got it. Out of Time 01. Takes me a second. Great show. I really like to watch and listen to this show. Lots of great topics and great guests. I like how it covers the news, but adds a bit of sarcasm and humor to the mix. Keep up the great work. We appreciate your kind comments. Sometimes I'll read a review and I start to read the name and I'm like, am I walking into a trap? I don't know. And sometimes I hesitate and then sometimes I just go all in. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll worry about it later. Glad to know that one was fine. But hey, here's the thing. If you want to trick me with your name, with your little nickname here that you go on the podcast and leave a review, let's do that. That'll be fun. Also, don't forget to make sure you are following Dave Raboy. You can find his subs. Is it daveraboy.substack.com?
It is.
Okay, Late Republic Nonsense. Make sure that you are subscribed to his stuff. He is amazing and welcome here anytime. Please come. Look, you're in Florida. So I don't expect you to come here a lot.
It's hard to leave.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave.
Yeah. Also, of course, Matthew Marsden. Make sure if you have not yet checked out his movie on Amazon, it is called I Am That Man, and it is fantastic. Check it out.